Hi guys, today we are going to see economics and business environment. Before starting the lectures, I am Muthu Karthika. I am a chartered accountant and guest lecturer come visiting faculty for the subject related to CA, CMA and CS. Let's get into the topic, economic and business environment. In CSEET, economics and business environment has the weightage of 50 marks. That 50 marks is divided into 25 marks for economics and 25 marks for business environment. So, as I told, today we are going to discuss about business, economics and business environment alone. More importantly, it is a crash course for economics, so we are giving a weightage to the economics alone. So, weightage is 25 marks. So, before we are revising the topics in the economics, let me tell the weightage for each and every chapters. There are totally 8 chapters in the economics and business environment. First 5 chapters related to economics and 6, 7, 8 related to business environment. Before I request you all you guys, what I request all you guys is, before studying the subject, revising the subject, see the weightage of each chapter and allocate your study time according to that. Likewise, in economics, there are 5 chapters. In this 25 marks, 5 marks each is allotted to every chapter. So we have to give equal preparation time for each chapter when we are discussing about economics. In business environment, there are only 3 chapters. Actually, 6th and 7th chapter has more importance. That is, it has 10 marks weightage each. And key government institutions has only 5 marks weightage. So totally economics and business environment is 50 marks. 50 marks. Okay, let's get into the topic. First chapter is basic demand and supply form of market competitions. Okay. Before we are starting our revision lectures, I request all you guys to take the material you have or download the CSEET economics material from the CS websites. Any material is fine. I won't compel you to download this material. If any economic material is fine, take that and take one pen and take any note, because without taking notes, without underlying the things, watching the revision videos alone will not be beneficial. Okay, I hope you guys are passed the video and took the revision, whatever books you have and the revision pen and revision materials and rough notes and all. Okay, I request you, since we are preparing this subject for MCQ point of view, I request all you to underline whatever I underlined, and I want you to take a note of a things which is a which and all a monetary limit or formulas. You have to take a notes in the right side or left side of the books, whatever you are having, or you have to take a separate notes for that monetary limit and formulas which I am going to mention. Okay, let's start the lecture. First chapter is theory of demand and supply. First thing is meaning of demand. What is demand? Demand is consumer desire to purchase a goods or service and willing to pay a price. Okay. The purpose of underlining is afterwards you're revising or studying again or day before exam, you have to study only the underlined part or the notes mentioned in the left side or right side or notes separately maintained. You shouldn't read each and every line the day before exam or on the revision time. It's a waste of time. We shouldn't do the double work. Okay, first meaning of demand is consumer desire to purchase a goods or service and willing to pay a price. That is the meaning of demand. Second topic is law of demand. According to law, what is law of demand? First point in law of demand is, we all know, we are all studied in the school days itself. When price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. In this law, this is the law of demand. The important point in the law of demand is other things being equal, because there are many factors which influences the demand. In law of demand, we are considering the price alone because it considered to be a major factor which influence the demand. So important key terminology in the law of demand is other things being equal. We consider only price because, as I told, it is the most critical factor. We considering price alone because it is a most critical factor. As I told in the law of demand, what this denotes, when price increases, demand decreases, price decreases, demand increases, which means it has inverse relationship. So when first point in the law of demand is it has price increases, demand decreases, which means other things being unequal. Second point is it has inverse relationship. Third point is why we are considering the price alone, because it considered to be a main critical factor. Wait. One sec. Sorry guys, technical error. Okay. As we discussed, first point is meaning of demand. It is a desire to purchase a goods or service and willing to pay a price. Second, we studied here is law of demand. That is the relationship between price and demand. Price increases, demand decreases, other things being equal. Which means inverse relationship. Why we are considering the price alone? Because price for the commodity is the most critical factor. Next, let's get more understanding by numerical examples. See in this tabular column, when the prices decreases, as I told, on the basis of law of demand, demand increases 200 to 1600. Okay, when we saw these as in a diagrammatical presentation. When the price is 60, demand is 400. When the price is 40, which means price decreases, what will happen to the demand? Demand will increase. That is 400 from 800. The demand increases. When price decreases, demand increases. Okay, I hope you understand the law of demand. As I told, there is a key word in the law of demand. What is it? Other things being equal. Other things, what is mean by other things? That is the thing discussed here. Assumptions of law of demand is detailed meaning of other things being demand. What is that other things? There is let's read out fast. No change in the customer's income, no change in the customer preference, fashions, price of related goods, future price and change on shortage, size and age composition and sex ratio of population and the range of goods available to customer, distribution of income and wealth of the community and government policies and wealth conditions. This is all considered as other things. There shouldn't be no change, then only the proper law of demand will works. That is only considering the price change, how the demand is reacts. After this, let's see exceptions to the law of demand. What is exception to the law of demand? Usually when price increases, demand decreases. This law won't work out for the following things. What and all? This is not that important. Let's brush it up fast. First one is giffen goods. Giffen goods are like bread, rice, wheat. Even though price increases for those, the people will buy that because those are the inferior goods. So it is an exception to law of demand. Law of demand won't work here. Next one is articles of snob appeal. Snob appeal means satisfying the artistic desire to preserve exclusive unique goods. Example is an prestigious product, Apple goods, those and all. Even though price increases, people tends to buy that because of their unique nature. Next is speculation. Speculation concept, which means if we expect one good's value will be increased furthermore in the futures, we will purchase that goods even though the price of the goods is already high in the current conditions. That means speculations. Next one is consumer psychology of bias or illusion, which means many people will have the thought of that if the price of the goods is more, which means the quality is more. In this assumptions, the law of demand won't work out. As we discussed, exception to the law of demand is 4 points. One is for given goods it won't apply, articles of stoppable, that is unique goods, it won't apply, then based on the speculation concept it won't apply, and consumer psychological bias or illusions it won't apply. Related to demand, what are all the topic we discuss about the demand meaning, and we studied about the law of demand. Third, we discussed the diagram. Fourth one, we discussed the assumptions related to demand. Fifth one is exceptions to the law of demand. The demand is over. Okay. While you are revising, by seeing these keynotes alone, if you are able to tell that the revision process will be quicker than the usual way you did. Okay, let's discuss about the second concept, which is supply, law of supply. I hope you guys are underlining and making the notes what and all I am making. So, price of the commodity, particular commodity will rise further. So, even given prices rise, they may purchase more. Okay. Wrongly biased about the quality of the commodity. Okay. Underline the word which and all I am underlining. Okay. The second concept is law of supply. Law of supply is how much the market can offer is the law of supply, which means quantity supplied in when receiving a certain price. What is demand? It is desire to purchase a goods or service in a given price. Okay, it is what the market can offer, quantity supplied when receiving the certain price. Okay. Here and all no important points. The second important point is supply. It is not the same concept of stock. Supply is not the same concept of stock, because one example, I will give you one example which is given here. You can read out. This is example. What example they have given is? If X commodity in stock, which means what is the existence of the stock of that X commodity. If X commodity supply means even though there is a stock, the company will not market every product they are having as a stock. So, if they have 100 stock, they send the 70 stock to the market for a consumer consumptions. The 100 is the stock, 70 is the supply. So, stock is what is the goods in existence. Supply means what are the goods is given in the market. That means supply. Okay, next. Certain extra concepts we can study together is it means specified time, increased price means okay, let's it also covers the how much price it is willing to offer, those and all the related topics related to supply. Okay. Next important point in the supply is price when the price of the item okay Next, let's get into the concept of we understood what is supply. Second concept is what is law of supply. Okay, what is law of supply? What opposite of law of demand? When the price increases, supply also increases. When the price decreases, supply also decreases, which means the price and supply has a direct relationship. Okay, the conceptual understanding of why this is happening is, when the prices goes up, suppliers will attempt to maximize their profit by increasing the quantity for sale. Okay, I hope you understand. Then we studied what is law of supply, what is supply and what is law of supply, and let's study about assumptions. Same as we discussed in the discussed for demand. Other things being remain same is the important point for law of supply and also law of demand. What is the other things denotes? State of technology, price factors of production, number of firms in the market, goals of the firm, seller's expectation, tax and subsidiary policies of a product, price of other goods. Okay, let's understood by the diagrammatical presentations. One example is, when price is 60, supply will be 400. If price increases to 90, the supply will also increases, which means the supply curve will be upwards. Okay, which means they have a direct relationship. Demand have a inverse relationship, supply will have a direct relationship. Next concept we are going to see is equilibrium price. What is equilibrium price? It is nothing but where the demand is equal to supply. This is the demand curve as we earlierly saw, which is going downward. This is a supply curve. Right now we discussed here. The point where the supply curve cuts the demand curve is the equilibrium price. Let's discuss furthermore about equilibrium. In the point of equilibrium, there is no shortage or surplus. When there will be a shortage or surplus means, when the demand is more than the supply, there will be a shortage. When the demand is less than the supply, it means supply, which means surplus. Okay, when the demand is equal to supply means this point is called as equilibrium. The price at this point is called as equilibrium price. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, next point is another important point is, when the supply is more, which means in the surplus scenario, the producer will need to reduce the price in order to match the demand. When price reduces, supply will also reduce, which makes demand is equal to supply. Reason for this is, when the supply is more, where there is no demand, the inventory will be more, the inventory storing cost will more. So in this scenario the producer will try to reduce the price. With that effect, supply will reduce, which makes demand is equal to supply, which will also reduce the inventory cost. Okay. Next, let's understand this concept by this tabular format. It is a quantity demanded, it is the price and supply. When price decreases, demand will increase. When price decreases, supply will also decrease. Okay, what is surplus, what is shortage? Where demand is less than the supply, it means surplus. When the demand is more than the Supply, it means shortage. So these point and all shortage, these and all surplus. What is equilibrium price? Price at the point where the demand is equal to supply is the equilibrium price. I hope you guys understand. Next point is okay, elasticity of demand. What is elasticity of demand? Okay, let's quick recap what we studied. What is supply, law of supply, and the third point what we studied, assumptions. Fourth one is diagram. Fifth one is what is equilibrium price and table example for those. Okay. Next we are going to study about what is elasticity of demand. Okay, elasticity of demand. Wait. Okay, first major concept is demand, second major concept is supply, third major concept is elasticity of demand. What is elasticity of demand? How sensitive demand for the goods to change in the other economic variables. What is mean by other economic variables? Price and consumer income, etc. How much demand change, how much percentage demand will change according to change in price, other income and other factors. That is elasticity of demand. When we usually elasticity of demand is shown in the percentage format. What is the formula is percentage of change in demand divided by percentage of other economical variable. Percentage of demand, here we mention quantity demand divided by the percentage of change in the other economic variables. Other economic variables on which demand depends. We shouldn't take other variables. Okay, I hope you guys understand. Elasticity of demand is how sensitive the demand according to change in the other economic variables like price and consumer income, that and all. How we are presenting this sensitivity, this elasticity is percentage of change in demand divided by the percentage of change in other economic variables on which which the demand depends. I think left side of the books are hidden, so I'll try to write this side. Okay. Let's see what are all the variables on which demand depends. One is price, that we already know, price of a related commodities and consumer income. Let's see price elasticity of demand. It is nothing but, as we discussed earlier, it is a response of quantity demand to change in price of the commodity. Okay, as we are mentioning again and again, the main assumption is all other goods are steady, other things being equal. Okay, formula is percentage of change in the quantity demanded divided by percentage of change in price, or else this symbol denotes change. We can mention this formula as quantity divided by, this is original quantity, this is changed quantity, new quantity, into this part denotes percentage of change in quantity. Next, there is division, so we will put this division also. There is change in price divided by changed, that is new price, this is old price. We can present this formula like this also. We can, if we multiply this, it become inverse. So this formula represents change in quantity, new quantity divided by original quantity demanded into original price divided by change in price. I hope you guys understand. Then types of price elasticity of demand. we saw what is elasticity of we saw what is elasticity of demand, we saw what is price elasticity of demand. Now we are going to see types of price elasticity of demand. It means extent of responsiveness of demand with a change in the price is not always the same. Okay, it may be elastic or inelastic, okay, depending upon the rate of change of demand with respect to change in price. So types of price elasticity of demands denotes extent of responsiveness. The demand will not change in equal percentage how the price will change. So depending upon that, whether it's changing equally or it is changing more or it is reacting less, the extent of responsiveness, types of price elasticity of demand is categorized as follows. Before we are seeing what are all the types, there are totally 5 types. First one is perfectly elastic demand. Second one is perfectly inelastic demand, relatively elastic demand, relatively inelastic demand, unitary elastic demand. There are 5 types. Before we are seeing the types of elasticity of what we should understand what is mean by elasticity of demand, what is mean by inelastic demand. Elastic demand means response demand is greater when smaller proportion of change in price. That means elastic, greater proportion or reaction in the demand for smaller proportion of change in price. What is mean by inelastic demand? Inelastic demand, opposite of this, relatively less change in the demand for greater change in the price. I hope you understand what is elastic demand and inelastic demand. Let's jump into the types of elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand. First one is perfectly perfectly elastic demand, okay, which means small change in the price of the product will lead to major change in its demand. This is called as perfectly elastic demand. In perfectly elastic demand, price and demand reaction, let's see. If small change in the price increase, when there is when small change in the price which leads to major change in the demand. If the price decreases, which will increase the demand to infinity, when the smaller increase in the price which lead to demand became 0. Guys, note down in the side of your notes or keep separate notes and note down this. Okay, let's understand. This is called as major changes in the demand. Either it became 0 or it became infinity. And just ensure that there is an inverse relationship. When there is an increase, here is a decrease but major decrease. Here when there is a decrease, here is an increase but major increase. So let's understand this concept by diagrammatical presentation. This is y-axis is a price, x-axis is a like we already saw, it is demand. The demand curve in the perfectly elastic demand will be parallel to x-axis. Okay, so in the given price, for a slight decrease in the price, the demand will go infinity. It will increase up to infinity. For slight increase in the price, the demand will become 0. Remember that in perfectly elastic demand, the demand curve will be parallel to x-axis. And remember these points also. Okay, there are mainly 3 points. First one is this, second point is these calculation, third point is this diagrammatical presentation which represent the demand curve will be parallel to x-axis. Next topic, what is perfectly inelastic demand? there will be no change in the produced in the demand for change in price. It is perfectly opposite of perfectly elastic. It is perfectly inelastic. In this, demand curve will be parallel to y-axis. There the demand curve will be parallel to x-axis. Here the demand curve will be parallel to y-axis, and whatever the price changes, demand will remain constant in the perfectly inelastic change. The another important point is fourth point. What is EP represent? Elasticity of price elasticity demand. Okay. Here the price elasticity of demand is infinity, as we told, because the demand will keep on increasing, which denotes major changes. Here the elasticity of price here the price elasticity of demand is infinity. Here there is no change in the demand, there is no responsiveness in demand. So here elasticity of price elasticity of demand is 0. Okay, the note first point is this, second point is diagrammatical presentation, third point is what is elasticity. Okay, third, let's jump into what is the third type, relatively elastic demand, which means there will be a proportionate change in the demand is greater than the proportionate change in the price. Okay, this is first point. Second point is diagrammatical presentation. What is diagrammatical? When there is a change in the price from 50 to 60, it drastically decrease, which is proportionally greaterly decreasing the demand from 100 to 50. Now we read it again for better understanding. In the diagram itself, change in the price lead to bigger percentage of change in the demand. Okay, diagrammatical presentation is second point. Third point is, as we already told, elasticity of price of demand is, in this, is greater than 1. First one is infinity, in second it is 0, in third it is greater than 1, because bigger percentage of change in demand. Then relatively inelastic. Relatively inelastic, same, percentage of change in the demand is less than the percentage of change in price. In this is first point. Diagrammatical, let's understand by diagrammatical presentation. When prices increase from 10 to 14, there is a proportionally less change in the demand. It became 88 to 80. Okay. Okay, third point is price elasticity of demand is less than 1. This is third point. After completion of 5 types, we will do the quick revisions. Okay, unitary elasticity demand. What is unitary? This is the change in demand is okay. Change in demand. Okay. Change in demand produces the same change in the price, which means how much percentage the demand price increases, same percentage of demand will it will change in the same proportions. This is first point. Diagrammatical presentation is second point. When 10 to 20, 20 to 10. Okay, then third point is what is, this is second point, what is elasticity price of demand. Price elasticity of demand is 1 in this. Okay, let's quick recap with the help of this. In perfectly elasticity of demand, EP will be infinity. In perfectly inelastic demand, it will be 0. Relatively elastic, it will be greater than 1. Relatively inelastic means it is less than 1. Unitary means it is equal to 1. In this, the demand curve will be parallel to x-axis. In this, the demand curve will be parallel to y-axis. In unitary, it slope perfectly. In when it is less than 1, you can guys see from here, it's in less than 1 it is more like a steep. When it is greater than 1, it is bit more less landing. Okay, let's go to next topic, factors affecting the price elasticity of demand. Okay, totally there are 8 points in it. First, quickly revise the headings, and I'll tell you the important points alone in this, because for MCQ point of view. Okay, factors affecting the price elasticity of demand is price level, availability of substitutes, necessities, time period, habit, nature of the commodity, various uses, postponing the consumptions. Okay, first is price level. Price level, how the for moderate, generally elasticity will happen for a moderate prices goods alone. For example, for necessities goods, cheap goods, let's moderate price in the sense it is not cheap and it is not luxury. Okay, so why the elasticity will happen for moderate price alone? Because for luxurious products, the luxurious products are bought by the rich people alone. They will not consider about the price changes, price of the product and all. They will buy it, so it will not be elastic. Again I will recap, elasticity means how much the demand will change for the change in the other factors, right? For luxurious products, which does not for luxurious product which is bought by the rich people will not have a elasticity, which means even though price changes, they won't react that much. For cheap goods like salt and all, that price changes will not also affect their demand. So moderate price goods are elastic. Okay, this is first point. Then availability of let's talk about availability of substitutes. Availability of substitutes. When goods as a close, when one goods has close substitutes, it has very elastic, because small changes in the price will lead our customer to change from our product to another substitute product. When the goods doesn't have close substitutes, it became inelastic. Even though we change the prices, when our goods doesn't have a close substitutes, the people will stick to us only, so the demand will not change. Again I am recapping, elasticity means effect when the price or other factors changes, how the demand will changes. When the demand changes, that is elastic. Changes or changes more, that is elastic. When the price changes or other factors changes, the demand is reacting less or not reacting, it means inelastic. When goods have a substitute, the price changes in our goods will make customer to move to other product, which decreases our demand. When demand changes, it is elastic. When our goods doesn't have a substitute, so even though the price changes upward or downward, the people will stick to us, so which will not make the demand changes. which means it is inelastic. When the demand changes less or demand is not changing, it means inelastic. I hope you guys understand. For necessities, next point is for necessities. For necessities, it is inelastic. Why? When the goods became necessary, even though price increases or decreases, we will buy that goods. So demand will not change, which makes that inelastic. Next one is time period. Over a period of next point is time period. When there is a proper time period for people to change, then it became more elastic. For example, if we change our price, people need to buy that goods today itself, then the demand curve become inelastic, because they will not go search for an alternative, because they don't have that much pleasure of time to search other substitutes. If they can search for other substitutes, they have a time for the consumption, then it became elastic, because they will find other substitutes for the goods they are using from us. Okay, in nutshell, when the period of consumption or type of consumption is less, the demand curve is inelastic. When there is a pleasure of time, the demand became more elastic. Okay, then habits. When there are some products which people consume for their habit, they become addictive. Those products are called as addictive products and habitual products. For this, the demand curve is mostly inelastic, because whatever the prices, the people will buy those because of their addictiveness. The great example for this is cigarettes. Okay, next point is nature of the commodity. There is something called as comfort. For comfort goods, it is elastic, because it is not necessary, it is just a comfort goods. So when the price changes, the people may think it is not necessary for as of now. So the demand will change according to the price changes. So here the demand curve is elastic. The various uses. Next point is various uses. Like, just remember, when the goods has several use, it has elasticity of demand. When it has fewer use, it has only inelasticity of demand. I think in this flow, I hope you understand how this is happening. Next, postponing consumption. When the consumption is postponed, like I told in the time point itself, when it can be postponed, it is elastic. The rice, wheat are always inelastic. We can't postpone the consumptions. Okay, I hope you understand. Quick recap is factors affecting the price elasticity of demand is price level, availability of substitute, necessities, time period, habits, nature of commodities, various use, and postponing consumption. Knowing the heading is not alone enough. You have to understand for which price it is elastic, for which price is it inelastic, and for which habits it is elastic, and for in various use, for what kind of use it is elastic, for what kind of use it is inelastic. That you have to understand. Next, as we already discussed, there is 3 types of elasticity of demand. The one is first one is price elasticity, then is income elasticity of demand, Then we'll see cross elasticity, which means price of another product. Second, income elasticity of demand. It is same like the price elasticity of demand. So we quickly brush it up. Degree of responsiveness of demand to change in the price. Okay. The important point is other determinants remaining constant. This is a definition given by Watson. Elasticity of demand is the rate of change in the quantity with respect to change in income, other determinants being constant. This is the first point. Second point is formula representation. Same like the I told in the price elasticity of demand. Here price replaces the income, which represent Y. Okay, percentage of change in demand divided by percentage of change in income, denoted by Y. Okay, other representation of this formula is change in original quantity divided by changed income divided by original income, which also can be represented like this by changing like this. Okay, formula is, so definition is first point, definition is second point, formula is third point. Fourth point is most goods increases with the increase in the household level of income. Demand for inferior goods, however, shows the negative relation. Like we have exceptions in the law of demand. Here also we have same inferior goods exceptions. Next, types of income elasticity of demand, like we discussed in the price elasticity. Here they given us short. Okay, let's see. Okay, negative elasticity of demand 0, here greater than 0 but less than 1, here equal to 1, here greater than 1. 0 means inelastic. Okay, here let's see, negative denotes for what goods the negative demand for commodity fall in price will arise, means for inferior goods where the inelastic, that is 0, will come in, means which for essential goods whether our income decreases or increases, the essential goods we will always buy, the demand for which will not change, so the elasticity is 0 for essential goods. Then it is where the greater proportion in the change of demand for change in income is commodity rise in the proportion where the rise in income. Unity means we already know when the demand increases or decreases in the same proportion of the in the same proportion of the deciding factors. This means unity greater than the unity 1, demand rises more. Okay, it's the same like the price elasticity. Just go through, note down these points and underline these things which I underline. Next point is cross elasticity of demand. What is cross elasticity of demand? We saw price elasticity of demand, we saw income elasticity of demand. What is cross elasticity of demand? Means percentage of it means same change in the demand which related to the price of change in the price of related commodity, how the demand responses in response to the change in the price of related commodity. This is the theory, which means like we already say percentage of change in demand divided by here percentage of change in the price of related product. Okay, not our product, it is related product. Okay, this theory is first point. Formula: percentage of change in quantity of demand of A, percentage of increase in price of related product B. Here product A, here product B. Formula second point. Third point, they shown this in the representation of substitute products and complementary products, tea and coffee and all. Okay. Okay. Next, like we always saw, what is the numerical representation of that elasticity, whether it is infinity. Like we like we saw in the income elasticity of demand, we'll see for what and all there will be elastic, inelastic, relatively high elastic, relatively less elastic, unitary elastic and all. Let's see here 3 types, whether it will become infinity, 0 or negative. For perfectly substitute product, it became infinity, which means if the price of a substitute is less, our demand will change drastically, and when the elasticity is 0, when the products are not related. If the one product with price changes which is unrelated to our product, it will not change our demand, no, so it became inelastic. Then negative elasticity, when there is a when the goods are complementary. When it is substitute, not substitute, when it is complementary, it will become infinity, 0, negative. Okay. Okay guys, now we'll see in elasticity of demand. Let's quick recap. After supply, we saw elasticity of demand, types of elasticity of demand. In those, we saw for each and every things, price of demand related commodity only they represent by cross elasticity of demand. Okay, for each and every types we saw what is the definition, what is definition, what is formula, and types, whether it is perfectly elastic, whether perfectly inelastic, or relatively elastic, relatively inelastic, or unitary. For all these 3 we saw. Okay, after that we are going to see increase, what is mean by increase or decrease in demand, what is mean by expansion and contraction of demand. Okay, let's see. First we'll see what is increase in demand and decrease in demand. Okay, increase in demand means when usually will this demand changes because of change in other determinants at same price. Contradictory to the law of supply, here we are keeping price as same and considering other determinants. The effect of this will be the changes will not happen in the same demand curve. The demand curve will be shifted to right. Okay, wow. This is the diagrammatical representation. When price being the same, the demand will, if increases, which means it increases because of other determinants, then the demand curve will be shifted to right side. Okay, which means increase in demand. Okay, the first point is demand definition, which means description. The demand changes because of other determinants, price being the same. If the demand increases, same price is important point, it shifted right side. If the demand increases, the curve will shifted right side. It is called as increase in demand. When it is called as increase in demand in diagrammatical. Okay, diagrammatical representation is fourth point. Second, what is decrease in demand? Same, less demand at same price. How it happens? Because of other determinants. Okay, okay. Here same like first point, price will be same as the second point. Third point will be the demand curve will shift to the left That is third point. What is fourth point? Diagrammatical representation is fourth point. Price being the same, when the demand decreases, the curve moves to left. I hope you understand what is increase in demand and decrease in demand, which means the demand changes in the price being constant because of other determinants, which makes the demand curve either to shift right or left. When the demand curve shifted to right, it means the demand increases. When the demand curve shifted to left, it means demand decreases. Next, expansion and contraction of demand. This is same like a law of demand. Increase in demand because of fall in price, other things being constant, which means expansion. Decrease in demand because of increase in price, which means, sorry, when the demand is increases, it means extension. When the demand decreases, it means contraction. We know the price will be the opposite effect. Okay, let's understand by the diagrammatical representation. Extension is first point, contraction is second point. Sorry, based on the price, if it is react, that is expansion and contractions, other things being equal is the first point. Second point is what is extension, third point is what is contraction, then diagrammatical representation is fourth point. How, let's see how it's react. It reacts in the same demand curve, not neither it shifted to right or left. If the price decreases, we know demand will increase. Okay, when the demand increases, it means expansion. From here it is expanding here. Okay, this point is expansion, increasing. When the price increases, demand decreases, which means this point is contraction. I hope you guys understood. We saw increase and decrease in demand, expansion and contraction of demand. Increase and decrease means there will be the demand curve will be shifted. In expansion and contraction alone, in single demand curve the changes will occur. Next, forms of market conditions. Okay, wait. Okay guys, let's see the another new topic. This concept also I think we have studied in schools. Forms of market competition. Okay, let's see. There are different market structures. It is very important because the market structures will characterize an economy. Okay, this is first point. And second point is I told you, there are actually we are going to study 5 types of market structures. First is perfect competitions, second is monopolistic, third is oligopoly, fourth one is monopoly, fifth one is duopoly. Okay, there is 5 types of market structure. It is important because it characterizes an economy. There are some factors which differentiate one market from another market. Those are called as determinants. Let's see a general example of those determinants. First one is the market structures are differentiated because of number of sellers it has, number of consumer it has, nature of products and services, and etc. Okay, let's see each and market structure one by one. Sorry. First one is perfect competition. In perfect competition, in this kind of market, there will be a large number of buyers and sellers. That is first point. Okay, second point is since there will be a large number of buyers and sellers, the sellers can't set a price because based on the market only they have to take a price. So here seller is a price taker. That is second point. Okay, next point, the Another point here is I said no, there will be a large number of buyer and sellers. These sellers and all will be a small sellers only. There will be a no big seller which can dominate or influence the market. Okay, so obviously they are all price takers. This is first point. This is second point. Then another characteristics of this market is the products are homogeneous, which means completely identical. That's why only they are price takers. If our goods and our competitor goods are look identical, if we change our price, the consumer will move on to the competitor. So what is the market price, that is only we have to take. Okay, in perfect competition there will be a large number of buyers and sellers. The sellers are price takers, the products are homogeneous, which means completely identical. All firms, these are all the main assumptions. Firms only have a motive to profit maximization. Since there is a large buyer and sellers, we already know there is a free entry exit in the market. There is a no concept of consumer preferences. Okay, I hope you understand. There are totally 6 points in it, 1, 2 and these 4 points. Okay, next one is this is perfect competitions. Next concept is monopolistic competitions. Here are also large number of buyers and sellers will be there. Okay, the second product is how it is differentiated from the perfect competition is do not sell homogeneous product. Okay, but it is not completely different also. There will be a slightly differentiated products. Okay, this is second point. Third point is there the consumer will not have a preference. So here, since the products are not homogeneous, there will be a slight differences. Consumer will have a preference of choosing one product. Okay, this is third point. Another point is, since there is a large number of sellers here also, we are not a big sellers who can influence the market and set a price. So here also we are a price setters to certain extent. Large number of buyers and sellers only, but our product is differentiated from a competitive market, but we are not monopoly and all to set a price. We don't have that much power, so we are a price setter to certain extent, price taker to the certain extent. This is fourth point. Fifth point is example, toothpaste. Toothpaste are homogeneous with the slight differences because they are not identical. We knew. Next is oligopoly. In oligopoly, first point is that it does not have a large number of sellers and all. It has only few sellers. Actually, few sellers is not, what is mean by few, not defined in many places. We can consider as per norms, this is 3 to 5 dominant firms are considered as few sellers. Okay, it has only few sellers, and so obviously in this buyers are more than the sellers. Okay, wow. Next, how they are setting the price will be collaborate together and set a price. Okay, because one's price will bring down another's demand, that they are closely related. So one's price will bring down others' demand. So they will set a price by collaborate together, and since there is only few sellers, any sellers can't enter into that market. So there will be a barriers to entry. So first point is there will be a few sellers. Few sellers means 3 to 5 dominant firms, where obviously there will be a buyer is more than the sellers. Second point is they collaborate together for a set up price. Third point is there will be a barrier to entry. Fourth point is monopoly. Monopoly, as the name suggests, there will be a one seller, and second point is, so he can set any price. He has that influential power, so set any price. He is a price setter. Third point, so he has in monopoly market, since the sellers have more power, consumer loses their power, that is obvious, and monopoly is very rare in reality. Okay, there are 4 points. Next, duopoly. As the name said suggests, there is two firms, and actually in current scenario that is almost never in a reality. If it happens in the future, how its function is relationship to each other and set a price, and since there is only two firms, there will be a entry barrier, and that's it. Okay, so there are 5 market structure. First is a perfect competition, second one is monopolistic competition, third one is oligopoly, fourth one is monopoly, and duopoly. Quick review is perfect competition, large number of seller taker, large number of buyers and sellers, they are price taker, homogeneous products. Monopolistic competitions, same, large number of buyers and sellers but not homogeneous product, slightly price setter. Oligopoly, few sellers, so collaborate together to set a price. Monopoly, there is only one seller, so price setter. Duopoly, there will be two, so they discuss and have a perfect relationship with each other to set a price, and since there is only two, there will be a barrier to it. In oligopoly and monopoly, oligopoly, duopoly, oligopoly and all, there will be a few or one or two sellers, there will be a barrier to entry. That's it. Next concept we are going to see is elasticity of supply. Same like elasticity of demand, we are going to see what is elasticity of supply. Okay, let's see elasticity of supply. Okay, elasticity of supply is a relationship between the supply of commodity and its price. Okay, calculated with respect to determinants of first point is, it is a relationship between supply and price, how the supply is reacting for how much it is reacting for changes in the prices, elasticity of supply. The second point is, since there is also we shouldn't forget there is also other determinants which decide supply. We are taking price alone here because the price is the major factor of controlling supply. Okay, this is second point. There is also other determinants. Third point is price is a major factor. Fourth point is formula. Same exactly like how we did in the elasticity of demand. The formula except demand, here we are substituting with the quantity supplied. Okay, so then the formula is changed quantity supplied divided by original quantity. Since we are representing in a percentage of supply, change in supply divided by percentage of change in price, we are doing here as an 100. Okay, divided by here. Okay, this is change in the quantity supplied. New price divided by old price into 100. These part represent change in supply, these part represent change in price. By this you can understand this formula. Okay, next we will see what is the types of elasticity of supply. Let's recall the elasticity of demand. It is more or like same. Okay, what are all the types of elasticity of demand? Perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, relatively inelastic, and unitary. Same like here, perfectly inelastic, the order is not the same but points and all same. Perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, then relatively less elastic, relatively greater elastic, then unitary. We already so same pattern we are going to study, and since we already know, she will brush it up quickly. Whenever price changes, okay, in perfectly inelastic In perfectly inelastic supply, the supply curve will be parallel to y-axis. Okay, parallel to y-axis. Here, price elasticity of supply is equal to 0. We know in inelastic, price elasticity of supply is equal inelastic, the elasticity will be always 0. Okay, next point is when since the price is inelastic, first point, it is inelastic, so the elasticity is 0, it is parallel to y-axis. This is second point. Third point is example. Fourth point is diagrammatical presentation. Example is the Mona Lisa painting. Whatever the price increases, the supply will not change because there is only one painting. Okay, whatever the price changes, supply will remain constant, which denoted as inelastic. That's it. Next one is relatively less elasticity supply. Relatively less elasticity supply, which denoted as 0 to 1, less than okay, the curve. So the first point is relatively less, supply change will be relatively less in proportion to the change in the price. When we are seeing the change in price, value is less than 1 but greater than 0. That is second point. Diagrammatical presentation is third point. We shouldn't forget demand curves, how the demand curves will be and how the supply curve will be. Okay, we shouldn't change that. And relatively greater elasticity, supply will be relatively change more than the price changes, then the elasticity will be greater than 1. The curve will start from here to here. Okay, in unitary it will change equally, so the PES is equal to 1, exactly equally it will change. Okay, we should remember that in unitary elasticity of the supply curve passes through the origin, which means here start from here. Okay, I hope you guys are underlining and noting down the points which I am noting down. Okay, wait. In second we note down the points. In third, this is first point, this is second point, diagram is third point, this is first point, equal to 1 is second point, third point, fourth point, fifth point. In fifth, the point here is supply has infinite elasticity. Likewise we saw in the demand curve, the small change in the it became 0, even the slight fall in the price, and becomes infinity for slight change rise in the price. Okay, so here is it is infinity, it is parallel to x-axis. Okay, and diagrammatical presentation is fourth point, fifth point, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2. This point is same like demand, refer demand elasticity. Okay, that's it. There are 5 types: perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, relatively elastic, relatively inelastic, unitary. Diagram and what is elasticity measure is important. Elasticity point is important, whether it is 1, 0, greater than 1 or less than 1. Okay, factors of the last heading of this chapter is factor influencing the elasticity of supply. Is the same like more or less same like what we discussed in the demand. So let's brush it up the heading. You guys go through what are all given here: price of goods, probability of price would change in future, conditions regarding the cost of productions, nature of goods, length of time. Based on this, whether the length of time is more or less, whether nature of goods is necessary or not, condition regarding the cost of productions, probability price would change in future, and the price of the goods. Based on these, whether it is elastic or inelastic will be decided. So this is considered to be a factors influencing elasticity of supply. With this, we are completing this chapter. Okay, thank you guys. Before ending this sessions, I will give you a little tip how you guys can revise this. Already I slightly given subheadings in the side by completing part sessions, like what is demand, what is supply related concept, what is elasticity related concept, what is elasticity of supply related concept. These sessions are there. You can revise that wise by creating a subheadings, or else take an index. After go throughing all this, take what and all book you are having, take the index and ensure that the topics mentioned in the index are properly covered. This is index. We studied theory of demand and supply, law of demand, assumptions of demand, law of supply, assumptions of supply, elasticity of demand, factors affecting elasticity, income elasticity, gross elasticity, increase or decrease, then forms of market competition, which is important in my MCQ point of view, elasticity of supply, factors of elasticity of supply. After seeing this class and revising once again, you guys must be able to recollect the concept and tell you the actually have to have must possess the ability to tell the content by only seeing this subheadings. Please use this index to revise the content mentioned in the chapter 1. Next class we'll start the lesson number 2 with the quick revisions of lesson number 1. Thank you guys.